out on the jungle gym, swinging back and forth. Hey, Lizzie. Her face lit up when she saw you, her big brown eyes wide. Paige, Shiloh. Hi. She dropped to the ground and landed with a soft thud in the sand. In a split second, Shiloh had abandoned you two and scrambled over to stand by her. You were used to being left out when it was just the three of you, but now Cove was here. That's right, childhood sweetheart is here. It was nice to have someone who stuck with you. Who's that? It's Cove. He's new. I remember. Hi, Cove. Welcome to my park. Nobody ever comes to play here, so this is where we get together. She gestured wildly with her arms as if to present the area to the newcomer. While Lizzie continued talking, you took the chance to kick off your shoes and wriggle your toes through the warm sand. That reminds me, I'm going to the beach next weekend. I'm really excited. Okay. Nice. Nice, huh? In this neighborhood, I'm the one who comes up with the ideas. You are? Yeah, I am. Who else could handle the job? Lizzie is the oldest. By a lot. My mom said you're Paige's age. Yeah. Thought so. I'm still the only one in this group with double digits. What about the other kids? Other kids? There aren't any. We're the only kids here, and Shiloh is just visiting from another place. Not even tourists really bring their kids here. This is the land of ancients. Be careful that the oldies don't try to steal your youth. Oh. For a second, it looked like he might cry again. He's a big crybaby. But something in his eyes shifted and he looked back at Lizzie. What kind of old people? Like moms and dads or grandparents? Grandparents who don't have kids. They hate kids. Why? We haven't done anything. Only some of them don't like kids. Saying stuff like that, you're gonna upset him. Yeah, they're really bad. I'm gonna say only some of them don't like kids. You interjected quickly, hoping Lizzie wouldn't take things too far. Cove sniffled, his forehead creasing with worry. Lizzie was staring Cove down, but Cove wasn't even looking at her anymore. He didn't seem to care that she was there. He went into his own head. Shiloh was the next one to speak, completely unaware of the situation. I met Lizzie and Paige in school. You'll see tons of kids there once summer is over. I don't want to go to a new school. I don't want summer to end. Shiloh looked down to the dirt. He hasn't had much luck striking up conversations with Cove. I like summer vacation a lot too. All the building tension in the air suddenly vanished when Lizzie laughed. At Shiloh's discomfort, at how weird she thought Cove was, at something else entirely he didn't really know. But she laughed, face scrunching up. Welcome to Sunset Bird Cove. Take a seat, put up your feet, and get used to it. You offered him a small smile, and at that, at least, looked to reassure him some. I think I read that wrong. For the rest of the summer, Cove was always there. You saw him more often than Shiloh, and on some days, when she was in a bad mood or busy, you even saw him more than Lizzie. And she lives with you. He became a staple of your everyday life, the way the sun and lunch and the beach were. Looking back on it years later, you would realize that you'd had a tiny crush on him right away. That was my decision. One that had made you want to spend as much time with him as you did. Of course, that was only the start of things. Okay, so here, oh, this is the DLC down here. Oh my god, this is a lot. It's literally double. So that means we're gonna be children for a very long time, I think. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 10 childhood memories with Cove that we have to play through. That means this is gonna be a long, long fucking childhood. Excuse my language. This is actually a really long game on its own, so strap in and let's dive into our childhood. I'm actually gonna do the DLC first because I've never done it, so let's do it. Every year, the Sunset Bird Memorial Library held a summer reading program. Your moms and Lizzie were big fans of it. Mom and Mommy because it encouraged reading, and Lizzie because she could win prizes. When it came to what you thought of having to read a bunch of books and then going to the library with a competitive Lizzie, I loved it. My character is shy and she likes books. Each time it'd been one of the highlights of your summer. Your mom still brought up the time when you shyly made her a thank you card for letting you participate. You and Lizzie went with Shiloh before, and this year you'd brought Cove too. His dad had been so over the moon about Cove being included that he'd driven all 4 of you. You had never been in Cove's dad's car before. It seemed a lot shinier than your mom's. Oh, there's the hot dad. Hey. Okay, after herding the group inside, Mr. Holden gave you all a wide wave with the arm that has a stingray on it. Wait, what's his voice? Have fun. Wait, have fun, kids. Stay in sight of the librarians, you hear? I wish I could watch you in action, but your poor old dad has to finish up some work. Though I'm sure that won't get in the way. Heck, I'd probably hold you kids back. There's pointedly no reply from his son over what was likely meant as only a joke. Cove's dad seems to deflate a bit. I'll swing around again when this shindig ends. Yeah, you can go home now. Jeez. Cove has some resentment against his dad. Oh, you don't have to throw me out the door. Your sister, already in full competition mode, cut him off. For once, Cove looked grateful she was there. We have to go find a table, Mr. Holden. You can talk to Cove after when we win. Okay. See you in about an hour. Have fun. Did I say that already? My advanced age is really catching up to me now. I roll. He's all young and hot. I'd say oldest. He's 33. Like oldest. Maybe 34. Bye, Dad. Bye, son. The 4 of you watched him shuffle out of the library, glancing over his shoulder at Cove more than once. So he's worried, it seems like. Bye, Mr. Holden. Thank you for bringing us. Thanks, Lizzie. Distracted, Cove was already glancing around the gigantic library. I want to go explore. What? I said I want to go look around and see what's in here. But the quiz starts soon, that's why we came. Wide at the first signs of conflict, Shiloh's eyes, darted between Lizzie and Cove. Then you can do it without me, right? You don't need a bunch of people. Didn't your dad say to stay with the librarians? You shouldn't go somewhere by unimpressed stare at the both of them. Then his eyes met yours. Why are you looking at her? Paige is with us. Paige, do you want to come with me? Okay, so many options. Cove's idea is more fun. I'll stick with Lizzie. I'd rather go exploring. The quiz sounds better. Go over to Cove or stay next to Lizzie. So, my shy bookworm character obviously is gonna go with Cove, but I think she's just gonna not say anything and walk over to him. You walked over to Cove, averting your eyes from Lizzie. Seriously? Cove looked surprised but happy at the same time. Childhood sweetheart, I got you. This was something you'd quietly admitted you were looking forward to, and you'd still picked his idea instead. Ugh, fine. Let's go, Shiloh. Okay. Her arms folded. Your sister stormed off. Shiloh had to race to keep up with her. She cares a lot about that. Shiloh looks like a chihuahua trying to keep up with a horse. That's so rude. You couldn't help but laugh. Since you've been here a lot before, we could play hide and seek. Hide and seek, not exploring. Yep, if I'm searching for you and you're searching for me, we'll really have to look at everything. That's a way to look at it. You weren't entirely sure of how effective that would be, but couldn't say he was totally wrong. I'll hide first. Fine. Decision made. Cove took off toward the back of the library. You already agreed to play with him instead, so you covered your face and waited for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When you looked up again, he was nowhere to be seen. You glanced over towards the way he went. Cove hadn't much time to hide, but he was already invisible. The place you decided to check was... Let's see. I'm gonna say... Okay, so we have next to a Peter Pan poster, beside the fairy tale display, or behind the solar system model. I think I have a feeling Cove is behind the Peter Pan poster or the solar system model. I'm gonna take a gander at the solar system model. Your library solar system display was pretty neat. It had all the planets from the sun on out, and it had its own little section hidden in the science books. But you saw a tiny pair of familiar shoes poking out from under the earth, so you leaned around it. Hi. Oh, hey. He turned back to the earth and its tiny moon. I knew he would be behind the solar system thingy. From this spot, I think it's supposed to be a solar eclipse. It kind of blocks out the sun. You looked at it, tilting your head. He was right. The thing was something you always walked by, but you'd never noticed that before. Hide and seek did seem to be working out for finding interesting things. Your turn now. I'm gonna cover my eyes and count to 10. I promise I won't peek. While Cove had his eyes securely behind the palms of his hands, you went to go hide. Okay, let's see. We can hide by the fire awareness station, near the stuffed animals, under the giant piece of fruit, by the outlaw poster, in the fantasy section, or near the toddler books. I want to do the outlaw poster or the fantasy section, so... But... are those places obvious? Shoot. He's probably gonna find me. Let's do the Iowa poster. You hid in the tiny alcove across from the gigantic poster of a woman named Kissin Kate. Waiting for Cove to find you, hidden from view, you looked across at her wide smile. Kissin Kate Barlow. She and her bright red gleaming smile seemed exactly like the kind of outlaw that Lizzie would think was cool. You mulled over the idea of showing your sister the new poster. She hadn't seen it before. But Lizzie wouldn't want to be dragged away from the things she'd come here to do. And besides, she was probably mad at you for going with Cove. Suddenly, his head appeared directly in front of you. Found you. You nearly jumped out of your skin. Cove. He glanced over his shoulder to see what you'd been staring at. Cool. I like her lipstick. Yeah, I like a poisonous fish. He stared at her for a couple seconds longer, then glanced back at you. It's my turn again. Start counting so I can pick a spot. Okay. Cove darted off before you even had a chance to fully close your eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 Mississippi. When the time was up, he was long gone again. There were still a lot of good places to hide, so you figured he was. In all the old Christmas stuff, next to the Kid Detective poster, behind the Willy Wonka statues, where would Cove be? I say he's next to the Kid Detective poster. Let's see if I'm right. You figured he was probably near the poster with a gigantic image of a smirking kid detective. I think it's like in my ear. Okay. Cove could have hidden in the itty-bitty little reading area next to it. Glancing past the poster itself briefly, your brain registered the words, Junie B. Jones, don't call her Beatrice, in big, imposing letters. You paused to stare at it for a second, thinking, why would I call her Beatrice if her name is Junie? Shaking your head to clear away the distraction, you tiptoed in to see who was sitting in the comfy chair. And sure enough, it was Cove. Okay, am I just good at this game or what? But he was so absorbed in the books he was reading that he hadn't even noticed you yet. I don't think most people read while playing hide and seek. Cove glanced up at you in one rough motion. Oh, hi Paige. I wasn't sure when you'd get here. It took a while. Please, it was the first place I looked. Not that long. It could have been worse, but it could have been better. Let's keep playing. I'm doing good. He put his hands over his eyes, but before you could run off again, a librarian approached the two of you. Kids, I've been looking for you. Cove peeked between his fingers at the stranger. Us? You must be Cove. Your dad told me he was waiting by the entrance. Cove blinked, mouth opening like he was going to say something, then glanced back down at his pink cast. It was a pretty clear giveaway. Sure. Is my sister Lizzie with him? She's taller than us and has orange hair. You're Paige, right? You nodded. Phew, I found both of you at once. That's right, she's with him. And the little guy with freckles. Come on, let's go get you reunited so we can close up for the night. I'm trying to make her sound old, but it's not working. Ready to go home, you and Cove followed him up front, where the ragtag group of family members and Shiloh were all waiting. There you are. She was pouting. You could tell tell from all the way across the room, and it was only that much more obvious as you got closer. Did you win? We can't. What is Shiloh's voice? We came in second. Hey gang, I thought you'd have been with them the whole time, Cove. I'm glad you didn't just go off by yourself at least. Cove glanced over at you, then back up at his dad. Yeah. Me too. A broad smile spread over Mr. Holden's face. Even so, next time you should. Cove. Cove's dad glanced around, slightly frantic, but Cove, just like always, had snuck off without thinking to say anything. He's leaving. Cove's trying to be the first one to the car. With a sudden burst of speed, Lizzie darted for the exit, still in Victor to be mode, even for something like a race to ride in the front seat. There was nothing else for the three of you to do except head after them, pretending the librarians hadn't noticed all the commotion. Though Lizzie had been victorious in claiming a window seat in the car, you could tell by her crossed arms and occasional pout that she still had not forgiven your betrayal. Cove hadn't been pleased about how he had to sit in the middle, but his mood lifted as you sat next to him. Did you say you came in second place? That's some good going. No, it's not. She levied another glare at you over her shoulder. Aha, sure. Striving to improve is good too. I was winning in our game. You nodded, even though you felt that with another couple of rounds, you could have swung a victory. I should have hit somewhere better. Hide and seek with just you two? That doesn't even count as winning. Why not? It's not special. There's no judges or prizes. You eyed the seat that she'd fought so hard to win. That wasn't much of a prize either. Dad? Yes? You could see Cove's dad's eyes in the rearview mirror, suddenly attentive at his son's call. We need a prize. Oh, as a matter of fact. Mr. Holden focused intently on the road ahead as though a suitable reward to please Cove might appear before him. Right, the big thing on the flyer for this was the chance to get a free pizza coupon, wasn't it? How about I call up a takeout place and we can have pizza at home for dinner? Lizzie huffed, pulling her arms closer to her chest. Great, now only Cove gets anything good. Hey there, I'll ask all your moms if you'd be alright for your kids to have some. Pleased, you smiled as you stared out the window at the scenery whizzing by. Thank you, Mr. Holden. Yeah, thanks, Dad. You're welcome. I do what I can. But you really should have stuck with the group. The quiz would have been fun. That was the plan when I dropped you off. We stayed together and didn't leave the library. I'm glad for that. Well, there's a lot of trouble you can get into, even if you do have a buddy along for the ride. Just be careful next time. I worry about you, and I bet Paige's parents wouldn't want her to run off unexpectedly either. Okay, son. Okay. That's my boy. Now, enough guff from your old dad. Let's decide what kind of toppings we're gonna get. Pepperoni. Sounds good. Anything else? And the conversation continued from there, with debates on what was best to put on a pizza for the rest of the drive. I vote mushroom. Mr. Holden wanted anchovies, and the other three kids in the car had to band together to explain how gross they were. The way Cove's dad laughed up in the front seat made you wonder if he was doing it on purpose. You'd had a fun day already, but closing it out with the promise of a free pizza after all, and more time to hang out with Cove made it even sweeter. It was a shame that you hadn't been able to do the quiz, but skipping it for just 1 year didn't hurt. It was worth it. that's the end of that one childhood memory. We've still got 9 childhood memories to go before we turn into a teenager. And then from there, we'll turn into a young adult, and then we'll turn into an adult eventually. Anyway, if you are watching this, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. I like this game a lot, and I hope you like it too. It's actually free on Steam if you'd like to play it yourself. But if you want to come along with me and see the choices that I make, then let's have some fun together. I hope I see you in the next episode. And goodbye. Have a good day or night.